Welcome to Some Guy's Garage. Bit of a different video today, maybe not quite a tool, although there's some tools in here. I do a little bit of live sound work on the side every once in a while, and I've wanted to put one of these together for quite a while. This is my, live sound kit, go bag, whatever you want to call it. It's a case full of all the little odds and ends that you might need at a gig that I have all in one case that I can just bring with me to every show and know I'll have some basic kit to get me through any problems or just make the show go easier. So today I'm going to walk you through what's in here. I'd really like to hear if there's anything I'm missing, anything that you guys, if you're doing this sort of work, sometimes want in a case like this or to bring with you to every show that just makes things go that much easier. So if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below, and I have a little bit of space left in here that I wouldn't mind adding things to it. But yeah, let me walk you through it here. This is a Pelican Air 1535. It's carry-on size, so one of the smaller cases, it's 22-ish wide or something like that. Let me grab a measuring tape here. So yeah, 22 by 14 by about 9 and a bit deep. I mean, the exact dimensions are on Pelican's site. I went with this size just because it's kind of nice, easy to carry. It does have wheels, so you can wheel this one around. And there is also one of the kind of luggage handles here at the front that you can pull out to wheel it around behind you, like a normal suitcase. So just ended up being a good size for this sort of purpose. The Pelican Air 1535 is like the Pelican 1510, just a lighter version of it. So if you have 1510, 1535 are basically the same size. Overall, obviously the case has been nice. The Pelican has always been a good name in these sort of cases, and I'm glad I went with this style case. So opening it up, let's have a look inside. First things first, I do have one of the 1510 organizers in the lid here. These don't technically fit the 1535. I had to drill little holes where the screw holes to mount this to the lid are, but that was an easy process. So if you're looking for a lid organizer, this is the OEM Pelican one, and for the 1510 case, and it will fit physically. You just have to punch some holes in the back of the kind of plastic that makes up the top lid organizer. And then the other thing is this is the Trekpak version, so it has the kind of foam and adjustable dividers in here. It's not the padded dividers with Velcro, and it's not the pick and pluck foam. So this, I decided to go with the Trekpak simply because it gives me flexibility in making different sections here, but also allows me to reorganize it in the future. These can pop out and move around if need be. And the other big advantage of the Trekpak cases is that they maximize the interior space available. The padded dividers are a little thicker and the foam is much, much thicker. Foam is good if you're fitting like kind of fixed camera gear or something like that in it, where you can pick out just the size of the cameras and the other objects you're storing. But for something more like this, I wanted to maximize storage space, and the Trekpak works well for that. So then let me just kind of empty out the case and show you what's in here, what I've actually packed in it. And we'll do the bottom and then the top, I guess, just to start. Gaff tape, always useful, pretty self-explanatory. A couple kinds of electrical tape, so white and black electrical tape. These are some Velcro ties, so cable ties like this. If I need to add any of their, I think the 3M brand, but they're pretty nice, nice and lightweight, but easy to use. And in the bottom here, I do have a first aid kit. I won't go through all the contents of this, but standard first aid kit, just in case something happens. Good to have bandages and whatnot to deal with that on show. Moving over from that is tools. So there's a bunch of tools down here in the bottom. This case in particular has some bits, a pair of Nipex Cobras, the tiny ones, knife and a Gerber shard, a pair of scissors, and then a couple pairs of nips. So just a variety of little tools in there. Back here I have a Wera bit driver set. So I've got a tiny one, a precision one with some bits to go with it, but then also a full-size screwdriver with a bunch of bits in the handle there and an extendable blade. So just standard screwdrivers that you might need. Next, a bunch of random fasteners, bits of wires, wire nuts, heat shrink, connectors, those sort of things. So just little bits and pieces if I need to fix something. A measuring tape. This is just a 16-foot-inch measuring tape. Nothing too exciting there. Pair of wire cutters, strippers. Desiccant, just to keep the thing clean, or dry, I should say. Zip ties. Can never have too many zip ties. Crazy glue in single-use size. So these are nice if you've never seen these. The Crazy Glue single-use, you basically open one up, use it, throw it away. So it's never gone hard, but those are very handy to have. Standard adjustable wrench, nothing special there. And then a Leatherman, this is a Wave Plus. So typical Leatherman multi-tool that has all the little bits and screwdrivers and saws and knives and pliers and all that sort of stuff. So Leatherman. Next to that we have cables. So stereo 1/4 to 1/8, 1/8 to 1/8 stereo, USB-C, USB micro, yep, USB micro, a shorter XLR cable, cable lock, so I could lock this to a table or whatever if I'm kind of leaving the area. I have something to lock this up with. HDMI, you never know. As much as I do live sound, sometimes video gets into the mix, so HDMI cable. Another longer mic cable. This one's I think 20 or 25 feet. Small network cable. A power supply for one of the things over here. I think that's for the switch that we'll get to later. Another slightly longer network cable. Again, just never know when you need to do networking. Like a lot of the live audio stuff now with Dante or Wireless Workbench or different management suites, even just the Wi-Fi built into the digital mixers these days. Networking becomes a big part of live audio these days. Couple turnarounds, so we'll split this out, but yeah, XLR male to male, or I guess this is male to male and female to female, so you never know when you need to adapt things. Then we have a small extension cord, so just a triple outlet with a right angle plug, and it does have built-in surge protection, I think 8 feet or so, but helps if you need an extra outlet. Just a power brick, so something to supply USB power to something. And then a couple adapters, so just a 1/4 balanced to XLR male and female. So that's cables. Moving forward here, couple mic clips, so Shure mic clips in the for wireless and for just like regular an SM58 or 57. My old Radio Shack sound pressure meter, I've had this thing for forever. It still works, and what can I say? The Radio Shack meters were great back in the day. I have a small TP-Link wireless router, so this does different bunch of modes. So you can bridge to an existing Wi-Fi network, you can do your own Wi-Fi network, it'll do routing and DHCP and all those normal things. And this is the power supply and the manual, because I never remember how to use these things. Each time you go to set it up, okay, how do you put the settings in the right mode? But yeah, just a small nano router, because you never know. And then in the front here, just a bunch of batteries, so AA's, AAA's, and 9-volt batteries for everything, right? Everything takes batteries these days, especially wireless mics. So just having spare batteries for all of that. Continuing on, a small voltmeter, amp meter. It's an Astro AI DM130B. It's relatively inexpensive, but does 10 amp, which is good for testing batteries and stuff. And then have the leads and alligator clips, but this one also has a non-contact voltage detector built in, so you can put kind of the head of this up to an outlet and see if it's live as well. But pretty much a cheapy meter. No, it's not one of my flukes, but for something like this, it would get me out of a pinch. Next to that, we have a old Behringer cable tester. So nothing too exciting about that. I think I keep the battery out of it because I don't use this too often. But if I need to check a cable, I have a cable tester. I have a, let me pull this out of the bag here, radial trim tube DI box. So this is good for, you could do guitar input, like a pair of them actually, because it is stereo, but also for hooking up laptops and things like that. It does mono summing if need be, so you can use one of the two with a stereo signal if you want. There's just lots of options with it. Kind of a flexible DI box, and radial ones are kind of bulletproof, right? The nice metal enclosures, and really well made and quite transparent in the audio. So awesome DI box, and probably one of the more flexible ones to throw in the case versus just a regular Pro DI that only does guitars and bass guitars and things like that. And then finally a little TP-Link switch. So it's just a 5-port gigabit switch. I probably need to upgrade this to a PoE one, just because that way with like Dante adapters or things like that, I can still use them on the switch. But these are pretty inexpensive and good to give you a few network ports if you need to connect stuff together. So moving into the front, I have these Shure pouches. A bunch of my wireless gear I have in other cases, so I've ended up with quite a collection of these Shure pouches, and they make nice little kind of bags for putting together a bunch of the smaller items. So in this one in particular, it's mostly filled with adapters, so different types of cable adapters and memory cards and things to do USB-C, a high-pass filter, barrel connector, headphones, some HDMI to USB, a DMX terminator, just lots of odds and ends for connectors and adapters and things like that. Next one down, this is kind of like a personal med kit, I guess you could say, or hygiene. A little bit of cash in here, but also toothbrush, toothpaste, Advil and Tylenol, floss, just nail clippers, things like that, that makes the gig a little more comfortable if you get into a situation where you have a headache or something. Next to that, we have, this is probably not fully complete, but a Pine Sol soldering gun with a couple of things of solder. I need to add some helping hands or something to this just to make the kit a little more complete, and maybe a sponge. But yeah, that one will be the soldering kit eventually. And then down at the bottom here, we have the typical mics. So we've got a Shure SM58, as expected, the most ubiquitous mic in the world. And then the other one that everyone expects, I'll let you guess what it is before I show you. Put it in the comments right now. Let you guess. What other Shure mic would everybody have? But yeah, of course, a 57. So typical SM57 instrument mic. So that's the bottom half of the case. Let's move up into the lid here. All right, starting in the top left, in here, Sharpies, pencil, pen, in a zippy just in case things got a little bit hot and something leaked in the end. And then just a little pad of paper and some Scotch shop towels in there as well. Moving down here, we have an Olight clip. I did a short video on this. I'll link that in the description. But nice little flashlight that does red and white and strobe, and has a bunch of output settings, and you can clip it to stuff. It's magnetic, so just a handy little flashlight to have. And then in this pouch, we have another non-contact circuit detector. This one's a Sperry. And then we have a plug tester as well, just to make sure that any plug you plug into is actually alive and wired correctly. And then a wireless presentation pen, so the slide clicker thing basically. It's just a cheapie, but if you ever have a presenter that forgets one or is awkwardly attached to their laptop, then at least there's an option here. To the right, we have some hand sanitizer, not too exciting, Kleenex, some more wipes, and those are just the couple screws that the cover comes with to attach it to this. There's only 4 holes in the 1535, the 1510 has more, so just a couple leftover screws from that. And then up top here, we have a small sewing kit. This is just like a Coleman Camp sewing kit, but all the little bits and pieces in case somebody, loses a button or something, way to fix that. There are some earplugs. I think there's a couple pairs, yeah. So Howard Lee, the LPF ones. I really like these earplugs. They're low pressure, but still have a high sound reduction. So those are a nice pair of earplugs as disposables. Extra zippy, you never know what you might need that for. A couple of them, I guess, here. In here, I have my musician's earplugs. These are not the greatest brand ones. You can see them there. As cheap disposable ones that aren't custom fit, these are actually pretty comfy and work a little bit better at letting some sound in versus the regular earplugs. And then, of course, a lighter. So if you need to set something on fire, probably unlikely, but more so with heat shrink or something like that, you can heat shrink with a lighter fairly easily as well. So one of those. And then in the last pouch over here is a pair of mechanics gloves, so just fast fit mechanics gloves. And inside those actually are some nitrile gloves. So kind of a couple options to protect the hands. These are if you're moving road cases or moving sets around or anything like that, something to protect your hands. And then the nitriles if you have to clean up something disgusting. There's also some in the first aid kit over there, but yeah, a couple extra pairs in the gloves here in the top pouch. So the other thing, I usually do have a business card in the front holder here, but obviously took it out for film purposes. And I keep a few in one of the pouches up here as well, just to have those to give out. And if somebody ever found the case, they'd be able to get it back to me, hopefully. Anyway, that is a tour of my live sound Pelican case. If you can think of anything I'm missing or should be added, let me know in the comments. I'd really like to hear it. Or if you have any questions about the case in general or how I've set it up, let me know in the comments below. If you aren't already subscribed, please consider it. I usually do tool review content, but some of these little side projects sneak in here every now and then. So if it interests you, I'd love the subscription. And as always, thanks for watching.